Hello, welcome to Waypoint Survival. Today, I want to talk to you about alcohol stoves. Stay tuned. I've been a big fan of alcohol stoves for quite a few years. I've probably used them 13, 14 years, something like that in the backcountry. And they have a lot of positives, but they also have some negatives. And I want to go over some of those with you real quickly. I wrote them down here on a piece of paper just so I wouldn't forget it. The pros, first of all, they're very lightweight and they're clean burning. They're cheap to operate, the fuel is easy to find, and they're actually relatively easy to make on your own. There's a lot of do-it-yourself projects you can find on YouTube and other platforms on how to make your own alcohol stoves. What about the cons? Well, there are some negatives that are associated with using an alcohol stove. First of all, they're really only good for boiling water. There's absolutely no heat control on it. So unlike a gas stove, which you can turn the heat and the flame up and down, when you start an alcohol stove burning, you have what you get. That's it. The other thing is you have to carry the fuel. Whereas if you're using a wood stove or some kind of a twig stove, you can always find sticks if you're in a wooded environment. Next, sometimes alcohol doesn't vaporize very well in cold temperatures. So when you get down below freezing, you're going to have a little bit of problem getting it lit. It will still work, you can still light it, but you're going to have a little more of a challenging time getting that to flame up and superheat, of course. Of course, alcohol can spill. And one of the things you have to be careful about, of course, is you can spill it in your gear and you can get it in other areas and you can lose not only the alcohol that you need to cook with, but also you can get it on other things, get it in your food and things like that, which would contaminate it and make it unfit for consumption. There's also a limited amount of fuel. And of course that goes with any kind of a fuel stove, whether you're using a propane or isopropane canister, or if you're using liquid fuel of any kind, again like an alcohol stove. Next, you have to let it burn out. So generally speaking, with alcohol stoves, with the open top and the way the flame is going, you have to let it continue to burn until it burns out. So really, you have to practice with it and you have to get to know the amount of fuel to use so that you don't waste fuel, because it's disconcerting to be in the backcountry. You've poured your fuel in, you've already boiled your water, and now the flames is just continuing to burn and you're just using up fuel. And of course you can try to extinguish it and all that, but then, you know, the alcohol, of course, if it's left uncovered, will evaporate on its own. Also, one of the worst problems with an alcohol stove is that it burns almost clear in broad daylight. And so that is really, really challenging, because if you spill it on something or you lit it and you don't see it that it's lit, or if someone else, especially a small child, is in your camp, they can actually get burnt quite severely because the flame is almost impossible to see. Now in low light conditions or at night, they're awesome. They burn with a great blue flame, and I'm going to do a demonstration here in this video, and I'll show you what that's like in a low light condition and also in the dark. But during the daytime it can be challenging to see the flame. I haven't tried every kind of alcohol stove out there. Some are more efficient than others. But the biggest advantage to carrying an alcohol stove is it's clean, they're lightweight, and you can get them pretty small. So this is a Pepsi can stove. You can make them out of any kind of cans. Like I said, there's a lot of plans. This is just simply a pot stand made out of some chicken wire. And if you can see here on the back, I made this back in 2006 and actually made quite a few of these. The next that I have is a Vargo Titanium, and I really like this little stove, and I'll show you a little bit more about it in just a second. And then the third stove that I have is the very familiar Trangia stove, and of course this is the Swedish stove. So the advantage of this Pepsi can stove is that it's super lightweight, it's very easy to make, and this actually comes out. You don't have to keep this in here. It's just, like I said, a piece of chicken wire that's rolled with a little bit of a lip on the top, and then it just slides down inside of the can, and that provides me with something that I can set my pot on top, because if you set it on top of this, very often your flame will just go out. But these are cheap, easy to make. This foil around here is aluminized muffler wrap that you get to seal up an exhaust leak in your muffler. It's high temperature, and it's a really great option for that. The next stove is the Trangia, and many of you are very familiar with this. It's made of brass, it's very durable, it's also very heavy. One thing I like about it is it does have a rubber O-ring inside, and that means that you can actually store fuel in here and you would have to be careful when you snuff the flame out that you didn't melt that rubber piece. Of course, you could always do it upside down or use some other kind of snuffer like a piece of aluminum foil. But at any rate, this is quite heavy, and you find a lot of these around on the internet. They're not that expensive, but this is an excellent option. And what's nice is, like I said, is you can actually carry your fuel in here, and that O-ring will keep it from not just leaking out into your gear, but also will help keep it from the fumes from just evaporating. The third stove that I like and have used quite a bit is this Vargo Titanium stove. It's super small and compact. It's much smaller even than the Pepsi can stove. It weighs an ounce. It's made from titanium, and it has these legs. It has 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom, and they fold out, just little hinges like so, and then the pot stand on the top does the same thing, so it looks just like this, and I showed you in the intro what that looks like. So you just pour your alcohol in here, and you got to make sure you get enough in it to start. So I generally go with about an ounce, and that works really well. But this stove also has a dual purpose. You can use 2 kinds of fuels. Not only can you use alcohol in it, but if you flip this upside down, it has a solid platform on the back side, and you can take your little Esbit tabs, you can put them right on there and light them, and this makes this a dual fuel stove. So in a survival situation, this is a great little stove. You can have some solid cubes with you, and you can also have some alcohol, and this makes a great thing, I think, to carry in a bug out bag or just in a backpacking situation where you're just, carry some mountain house meals and you just want to boil some water. It's a great option. It's my favorite alcohol stove, actually. Okay, so let's talk about carrying your fuel. I usually carry mine in a Ziploc bag. I like a lot of protection on my fuels when I carry them. I don't want any spills, not just because I don't want the alcohol in my gear, but because I just don't want to lose any fuel either. So I carry it in a Ziploc bag, and then this is just an 8-ounce bottle, and I have denatured alcohol, camp stove only. And let me talk to you a little bit about the kind of fuel that you use in your stove. That's really important. I recommend that you only use denatured alcohol in your stove, and you can see here you can get this at almost any paint store, Walmart, various other places carry it back in the painting section, but it's denatured alcohol. And if you look at it, if you read this small tagline here, it actually says that it is clean burning fuel for marine stoves. So this is used for areas in which you're in a closed environment inside of a galley of a boat, and so this burns clean and it doesn't throw off a lot of bad fumes that are going to hurt you. So this is something you can cook over. It's not going to hurt your food. Now this is something that you should never use in an alcohol stove. Either the red bottle or the yellow bottle, any of this stuff. This is highly toxic. You don't want to get the fumes on you. It's hard on your skin. It's very bad for your eyes. You certainly don't want to burn it. You don't want to be hunkered over it cooking food. You don't want the fumes from this in your food. I would say stay away from this. I see a lot of people on the internet talking about, oh, this is a great fuel. It'll burn great. It does burn well. It's highly flammable. It is alcohol, but it's methanol. And the other type of chemicals that are in here to keep your fuel lines from freezing and all that stuff, it's for your car. It's to put in with gasoline. This is not to cook your food with. And so please take my advice. If you want to look up the MSDS sheets, the manufacturer's safety data sheets, go ahead and look it up, and you're going to read a bunch of stuff about heat. You're not going to want to use it in your alcohol stove. So if you've been using this in an alcohol stove, please don't. This is really, really dangerous. Okay, so you saw the little bottle that I carried earlier, and here it is, denatured alcohol, and it's for my camp stove. And then I also, on the back, just took a Sharpie, and I marked off the ounces. This is an 8-ounce bottle. Of course, if you're in another area where you use milliliters, you'll have to do your own measuring. But I just took and measured this off because I found, from my experience, that in normal conditions, about an ounce of alcohol will boil the water that I need, a cup to 12 ounces, something like that, in usually 8 to 10 minutes. Now, an alcohol stove doesn't burn as hot as an isobutane or isopropane or just plain propane stove. You get a lot more heat, you can get a lot quicker boil times. But if you're going to use alcohol, you're going to have to provide 8 to 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, for your water to boil. And I find that sufficient. So if I use this carefully and I cook one hot meal a day, this will last me on an 8-day trip. And it's not super heavy. I also, to make sure that this didn't spill, I took a piece of a plastic garbage bag, the heavy duty 3 mil kind, and I just put it in there, and that just gives me extra protection inside of the Ziploc bag. And then of course with the bottle, it also has its own seal. But I recommend that you, if you carry this, I recommend that you make sure that you take precautions that it doesn't spill on anything. Lighting one of these little stoves is very easy. You just find a good platform, and here I found a graveled area where it's safe. You just take your bottle and very carefully you want to put it in there, trying not to overfill it or to spill it, because as you see, this is going to fill up and then it'll drain down inside. So you just go very, very carefully, trying not to overfill it or to splash it out. Now you got to put sufficient in there so that it can actually light. Once you get that pretty filled up, and you'll see that there's a little pool left on the inside, and this is very important for this stove. And you think it's enough, and it will hold a good ounce. Alright, there we go. So as you can see, there's a little pool left there. Make sure and you set the bottle away from the stove. You don't want the fumes catching it on fire. Then you take a lighter or a match, and you just literally, just a little bit of a flame. Doesn't take a whole lot. And it's already burning. It's very difficult to see. And that's why I told you got to be super careful in the daylight, because you can burn yourself and not even know it. It can spill off on your gear, run off on a piece of wood or a table, and then you wouldn't realize that it's actually flaming. So yeah, this is going. This is burning. It's throwing off heat. So once that gets burning, it takes a little while for the alcohol to superheat, and then it'll start coming out of the little pinholes all the way around like a little burner. I have a cup here of water, and it's not quite 14 ounces or so. And so I'm going to go ahead and set it on here. We're going to boil some water for a Mountain House meal. Alright, set it right here using the pot stand. And you can see the flames licking out around it a little bit. And it's a very tiny little stove, but the pot stand is big enough on it, it's built in, that it will actually support something even of this size. So this is by far, as I said, my favorite little backpacking stove. Bushcrafting or whatever, if I'm going to carry an alcohol stove, this is the one that I'm going to carry. So this is what it looks like while it's working, and I can just barely see a little bit of a flame now and then, but it is quite hot. I can see the just the condensation on the cup there from the water as it heats up. But this is why you have to be really careful with alcohol stoves in the daylight, because the flame is pretty nearly invisible. Okay, got our Mountain House meal. Water is hot, bubbling, like it should. Of course, most of you are no stranger to Mountain House, but just out and about, and wanted to put together a little bit of a meal. This is lasagna with meat sauce. Go ahead and pour this hot water in here. Very good. Take a spoon, stir it up, then we'll close up the bag and let it set for a while. Most of you, of course, are very familiar with this process when it comes to Mountain House foods. So I'm not going to bore you with the rest of it, but just suffice to say that this is a very effective method of boiling water, and especially if you have these pre-prepared kind of meals, or if you're going to do oatmeal or something like that in the mornings, an alcohol stove that also uses Esbit tabs is a very, very, very nice thing to have along. Lightweight, very small. It's a great emergency backup too for when you can't get a campfire started, you just need something hot to drink. One other thing that I want to note too about alcohol stoves before I sign off is that they are also vulnerable to wind. Alcohol stoves do not handle wind gusts very well. It can blow them out. So you need some kind of a windscreen back behind a rock, Or you can always take some aluminum foil and fold it up and make some sort of a windscreen around it to protect the flame. But other than that, alcohol stoves are pretty awesome, and I highly recommend it. So I've got each one of these little alcohol stoves filled with some fuel. I didn't fill a whole lot just for demonstration. So I'm going to light each one of them, and you'll notice as they each one start to burn that they each have a different style that goes along with the burn. Now I didn't put a whole lot in this one, but as you can see, when it's in the light like this, it's fairly easy to see it burn. And now all three of our stoves are burning quite nicely. Of course, this one and this one both have a built-in pot stand, and this one does not, so the Trangio will need some sort of a pot stand. You want to be careful what you set it on, because the surface is going to get hot underneath. And then of course I've got a windscreen around the back. This is James Bender for Waypoint Survival. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure and check out the links in the description box below. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.